What up, bruz? As you know, we're still on hiatus from our regular recordings of Brum Meets World while we wait and support the actors' strike. But we've missed you guys and decided to jump back behind the mic and cover some struck-free work. We present to you our new miniseries, Let's Make a Mixtape. We, of course, would love to hear your feedback, but for the time being, make sure you support the strikers, studios, pay your workers, listeners. Enjoy. What up, bros? And
What up, bros?
You know what? You haven't done that in so long.
I know,
I forgot that it was supposed to be there. I forgot it was supposed to be there. And welcome to our new miniseries from Meets World presents Let's Make a Mixtape. I'm MC Ceej.
And I'm DJ Tony Curtis.
And together we are taking you on a trip down memory lane, reminiscing those MySpace days, LimeWire downloads, and making you the ultimate bruh-tastic playlist. Tony and I will each select 10 tracks that'll give you that throwback mixtape experience.
We're jamming the music exclusively from our formative years, spanning the 1980s up until about 2010. At the end of our episode, we'll share links to our new mixtape and let you, the audience, decide who had the better mixtape.
Per Tony's special formula for a hot no-skip playlist, our mixtape must include these categories.
Now, I must say that we have to adjust the categories a little bit for each theme that we do.
What? You're just now telling me this?
No. Well, just in the sense that, like, for example, last week we were talking about pop boy bands. It was easier to think of dance numbers, but there's not necessarily what you would think of as a traditional dance number for some other genres. So that's what I just mean. Like, it's more about tempo than it is vibes.
To know he just changed the rules mid-recording after letting me go a week and selected my song. But it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so track number one, we have an upbeat number. Kick off the playlist with enthusiasm and upbeat energy. Track number two, we have a mid-tempo groove. This is a perfect song that translates from the up-tempo first track to the power ballad third track, because that's right. At track number three, we're gonna have that heartfelt power ballad, the one that invokes emotions that you want to sing in the shower when you're having a bad day. Then we're gonna pick up the energy again with track number four, with more of an energetic melodic type of track. Number five, we're gonna do that catchy earworm. This is the song that you want to sing at the top of your lungs with the windows down. Poppy, anthemic, just something that really just brings the whole car together. Track number six, we're going to do a self-reflective song. This is something that's more introspective, something that's more relaxed. And then track number seven, we're going to have our last upbeat song of the playlist, something that's going to keep the energy up and just kind of smoothly transition into our track number eight, which is a deep cut. This is an unpopular gem that we're dying to give more attention to. Track number nine, we're going to switch it up with some acoustic vibes, something that feels maybe a little nostalgic, maybe a little, bittersweet, to just kind of like, crescendo down to where we want to be. And then track number 10, our epic finale. This is the powerful track that builds and just ends our playlist with a bang.
I love it. This week, you guys, we are talking pop punk. That is very, very specific genre. Those who know we are not doing alt rock or adult rock or even new rock. This is pop punk, which is a very, very specific genre.
So does emo count as pop punk?
So here's the thing. I looked it up. Emo is a derivative of pop punk, so emo does count, which is why
I feel like there's some overlap. There's some artists that would like do a little pop punk and do a little emo.
A little bit.
A little bit of
that. Yeah. Those are completely separate lists. We will have to come back to those. We want your Blink 182s, your Good Charlottes, your My Chemical Romance, songs with heavy drums, dynamic guitars that take you back to that skate park parking lot. But before we get into that, TC, set the tone with Take Me Back.
So we're going to go back to, I want to say, that Y2K era once again, but a different portion of TRL. Last time we were looking at boy bands, but along with boy bands, and probably more prominently through our high school years, the mid-2000s and late 2010s, or early right around 2010, pop punk took over And I feel like that was kind of, at least in our high school, was like the main music that kids were listening to. And, you know, currently Blink-182 has reunited. They just put out an incredible new song, just kind of singing about the band getting back together. And it's very nostalgic and in all its vibes. I feel like Paramore is trending every other day on Black
Always.
TikTok.
Always.
So it just feels like now is the time to revisit and just think about, man, what would be a great pop punk playlist?
Absolutely. So with that, let's get into the mix. Okay. Pop punk criteria. These must be artists between 1980 and 2010. We are doing draft rules. So once a song is selected, it is off the board and the other cannot use it for their playlist. So I hope you have some good backups.
I have alternates for all of my tracks. So
That's
I'm
good,
ready
as you should.
for
as
anything.
You should. Okay.
Okay, so Ceej, we are starting our ultimate pop punk mix.
Actually, you went first last time, so I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you. How are you starting out your mixtape playlist?
I like you guys. I know I will probably say this every single time we do one of these, but this was so hard. I think this was actually harder than the boy band because the boy bands had like a very only but so many.
A finite catalog, right?
Yes. But this spanned decades. It spanned albums. It just like moods. To narrow it down to 10 was so hard. So I actually worked backwards. I started with my last song and I worked my way up. But listening to the mix, I had so many things in first place, but I'm going to start off with My Own Worst Enemy by Lit.
Okay. I'm there with you.
Right? Like I felt like that was a very strong beginning. And then like just the way that song moves, it's high tempo, it's fun feeling, it's essential pop punk. Some dude just woke up from a night of crazy partying. He doesn't even know what happened last night.
No.
But he knows that he's his own worst enemy. And that kind of self-deprecating humor, that's pop punk. And that's why I opened up with My Own Worst Enemy.
I love this song by Lit. Lit had a bunch of really fun music videos, I remember. And I do remember this one specifically. Can we forget about the things I said when I was drunk?
Yeah.
How many of us have felt this at some point in our lives? Like, that's what's great about the song is that the lyrics are all things that I feel like we can all kind of relate to in one way or another.
Yeah.
And it has a really great, just that chorus, you know, like, please tell me why my car is in the front yard and I'm sleeping with my clothes on. Yeah. I love that.
No harmony here, you guys. Sorry.
No.
Okay. Yeah, no. I get it. Like, especially like that moment where it climaxes and it just kind of runs together. You know, like, oh God, so good. That was my opener. There were lots in there, but ultimately, My Worst Enemy went out. Okay, what is your first track?
Okay, so my first track is going to be Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down. To me, this is just like classic pop punk. This is like the song that till this day, if I'm somewhere with a bunch of millennials and this song comes on, it's all we're all singing it at the top of our lungs. So it just feels very much like a pinnacle part of the pop punk culture in some way.
Absolutely. It's really funny because I'm not gonna lie, while I was doing my notes, I was able to see your first song select. So I knew what your first one was. Ooh. But it really helped because I looked at Sugar We're Going Down and I was like, how do you not use this one? Like it was so hard. So knowing that you had used it really helped because I was like, yes, this like Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down. Am I more than you bargained for?
Love it. And I also think it's maybe my favorite Fall Out Boy song. So really? There's that.
I'm not gonna lie, like for me, the thing about Fall Out Boys that's like amazing is they were like kind of the first band that I really, I'll say, recognized was just kind of like having song titles that are completely long sentences that don't like necessarily make sense.
I love it.
But like, God, it was so much good. And then like Drop a heart, break a name.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like that little switch, like it's fun. like almost high school poetry, but a good time. I just love it. I love it.
I mean, we have to accept that like a key part of pop punk is 20 and 30-year-olds writing lyrics that resonate deeply with 14-year-olds. I don't know why that is, but it created a genre.
Let's be honest. At that point in time, 30-year-old men probably had the emotional intelligence of 14-year-olds. And so we were dealing with what we were dealing with. No judgment.
No judgment. I mean, I've seen the Woodstock 99 documentary. I know what Ceej, what is your track number 2 for your
Now remind them what track number 2 is, because I know what my track number 2 is.
So track number 2, according to our specifications, is a song that smoothly transitions from the upbeat first track to the power ballad track number 3. So, Ceej.
Yeah, because of that, my second song, again, I'll say I almost knew immediately what the second song had to be on this playlist.
Ooh, wow.
It has a good mid-tempo groove. It is quintessential pop punk, and it's a section of pop punk that I don't think always gets the credit that's due, which is female pop punk. Coming in strong in number 2, Avril Lavigne's Complicated.
Wow.
Somebody else get me frustrated. And life's like this, and you fall and you
crawl. What you get and you turn it into. Love this song.
Honesty, just promise me I'm never gonna find you faking.
It's really funny because I don't know if you had this, because we went to different middle schools, although we went to the same high school.
Yeah, we did.
But did you have like a few girls who were just basically Avril Lavigne's of your middle school?
100%. Like
she was such a type, right?
Yes. Yeah. That became like she became like an icon, and people like modeled themselves after her. Avril Lavigne became a genre of her own.
I feel like she was like the gateway drug for goth girls. Like they dipped their toes in with a little Avril Lavigne fashion, and then it slowly transitioned into full on goth. Or scene. Forgive me.
I have any Avril on the rest of your list.
I do not have any Avril on the rest of my list.
We're gonna have to do a whole other playlist that is punk princesses, because I could not. Like, Complicated was the one to choose. She has so many great songs, and like I just like, it was so hard for me to choose just one. Like, she has one that like we're getting into the later tracks, but like My Happy Ending was one that I definitely wanted to bring up in there. There were
I'm With You.
Boy, I'm With You. Like, these are all ones where she just like, she got who those girls were, and listening to that song completely took me out. I actually think it was like one of the very few albums I had in my car that I would drive to school with. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? Tremendous choice, Ceej. I love this song. It really defined a portion of middle school for me. And this also gives me great TRL flashbacks.
Yeah.
This song. Okay, so for my number 2, I started with Sugar We're Going Down. My way of transitioning was into Misery Business by Paramore.
You son of a bitch! You took one of mine, but it's good. It's good.
You can actually see my copy of the Riot vinyl behind me. I love this song. I love Paramore. I had to have them represented on here. Obviously, Haley Monisha Williams had to be on my playlist somewhere. But no, I love this song. I love Paramore. Here.
But I got a world wanna now.
Whoa, it's never my intention to brag. Just steal it all away from you now. But God, does it feel so good. Love this.
Black people love this song. I love this song. If you go on any version of TikTok and you start singing this song, Black people, the black eyeliner just appears.
One of my favorite things as being part like a token Black kid like yourself who grew up around this music is that TikTok has been able to show me how many of us suburban Black kids there are in the world that grew up listening to this and loving this. And I just love that we've been able to find a culture centered around songs and bands like this that I just think have done a fantastic job of creating music that I still think slaps to this day. Olivia Rodrigo would not be biting off of these songs if they weren't great songs.
Exactly. Love what you said. Okay.
So that is my number 2 track.
You
Misery
already
Business,
stole from me.
Memoria.
And again, I knew, here's the thing. It was too good not to have. So I understand. All right. Number 3. What is the number 3?
Number 3 is going to be our power ballad. Ceej, what do you have for the power ballad category?
Okay. This was hard, but when I thought about, there are really, really good power ballads. I just wanted to nominate. Well, actually, I don't know what yours is, so I'm not going to jump the gun. But I will say, when I thought of it, I slowed it down a little bit. I decided to go with Blink-182's "I Miss You."
Fantastic choice. And we'll have Halloween on Christmas. And in the night, we'll wish this never ends. We'll wish it never. Don't waste your time on me.
I'm on me. You have to do it in that voice as well.
Yeah. You're already the voice inside my head.
Exactly. So that was one of the ballads that I chose. And I also thought, again, if we're talking playlists from Complicated, the guitar strings and drums from Complicated really do fit well with the intro of "I Miss You." Yeah. I did a lot of like listening to the beginning and end of tracks just to make sure that they flowed. And trust me, the vibe from Complicated to "I Miss You," in a way, again, it's almost like telling a story. We're starting off with this dude is just being like, I don't know what I said last night, I'm sorry. The girl is like, why are you making things complicated? And then we come back again with, hey, I miss you. So that's my number 3.
I'm really happy that Blink is represented. To me, Blink-182, probably even more so than Green Day, was like the first like pop punk band that really like hit my friend group and my generation and like my direct, like it, like once Blink-182 happened, like the skateboard kids had a brand new personality essentially. and it just kind of like, I feel like Blink and like things like Jackass, like there was just so many like things from that time that kind of blended in together. Jinko jeans.
I was thinking the Jinkos.
It all was just a vibe, and I just love that Blink-182. They also had really great music videos. I don't have any other Blink songs on my playlist, but I highly considered "What's My Age Again" because it's such a fantastic music video.
And I love that you said that, because to not include all the small things felt like a violation. But like when it came to ballads, this song for me, it fit the rest of the album, and I couldn't justify including all the small things, even though Blink-182, as you said, they have so many great hits, and they really did like shape what middle school became.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're here. I have to shout out their newest song and video that just came out. For any millennial pop punk kid who has not seen the new Blink-182 music video, please go watch it. It's so nostalgia. It's all just about bros just missing being bros in 99 together. And I feel like it's very reminiscent of the vibe that we try to cultivate on our podcast. So I just want to recommend it. Okay, so number 3, my power ballad, we're going to transfer over to my favorites of all the pop punk bands, and this is just mine, was a little band called Yellow Card. Yellow Card was from Florida, like us, Jacksonville, and their debut album, Ocean Avenue, was like, to me, it was like my entire soundtrack of my teenage years, specifically the number 3 song on my playlist, Only One by Yellow Card. Here I go, scream my lungs out and try to get to you. You are my only one. This song was my like emo song. This was my I am simping so hard. I have a crush on this girl who is not giving me the time of day. I'm gonna go sing this song in my first beat up shit car at the top of my lungs. Yellowcard, I've always been attracted to because they had a black drummer, which was one of the first things that pulled me into it. Very few punk pop bands at the time had black people in it. They also had a violinist, which I loved and just made every song feel that much more cinematic. I did not include it on this playlist, but in a very similar way that Google Dolls with Iris has that fantastic like symphony section.
We'll have to do like an adult
100%. 100%. But yeah, the way they had that symphony section, it feels like Yellowcard has that in almost every other song. They have this like great symphony section. Their sophomore album actually has a lot more of that, but I'm a huge fan of them and I had to make sure they were represented on this playlist. So for my power ballad, I'm doing Only One, Yellowcard.
That's a really, really great select.
Number 4, we're picking things back up again, boosting the energy a bit. What do you got for your number 4 track?
I am so excited about this song. When I was doing my research and this song popped up, it sprang into my head and I was like, this is the dance song. There is no other song that competed. I listened to so much music this week and this song stayed exactly where it was because it just hits my ear right. It's a great transition from I Miss You to this song. And it just kind of picks up immediately. You're on the dance floor, you're in a mosh pit, and I am talking about the Offspring's You're Gonna Go Far, Kid. Gonna go far, kid.
I am so glad that the Offspring found a spot on this playlist because I was actually also torn between different Offspring songs to include. This one, I have to be honest, I'm less familiar with this song.
Oh my God. It's one where it's like, I would ask you to just stop and listen to it right now. This song is, again, it kind of starts off immediately like with a very strong drum and you're just like, you're picking up the energy immediately. And it does drop, it's just full on rock. You're on the dance floor, like I said, you're in a mosh pit, it's energy. And it does a really good job at like crescendoing.
Yeah.
And then like this tension release. And then it just ends.
I feel like the Offspring kind of got a weird rep because they put out Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And I feel like for most of mainstream media, it kind of painted them in like this box as being a borderline parody music. But a lot of their songs are actually really, really great. Again, I'm not as familiar with this one, but I do know it and I do enjoy it. The song that I was thinking of including was The Kids Aren't All Right, which I love that song. But yeah, like pretty great lyrics considering that they're thought of as being very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. Again, for me, I'm excited for you to listen to this song after we're done because trust me, you'll love it. It has so many great sections. There's a part where like the music just cuts out and it's just like call and answer. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a call and response. Yeah.
Call and response. Thank you. It's just like a group clapping. It's like old fashioned. I don't know how to describe it other than like pure joy. Okay. And I'm really happy that it's on the list.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Okay.
For my number 4 track, I'm trying to follow up Only One by Yellowcard and bring a little bit more enthusiasm into it. I am choosing to introduce All Time Low's Dear Maria, Count Me In. I don't know how many people are familiar. I feel like this one isn't as popular as some of the other songs I have on my playlist, but I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle, and I'm the pen. This song actually got popular on TikTok for a while as like one of the like a trending sounds for that little portion of it. But this is just a great like really high energy song. All Time Low, I feel like kind of came towards they rose in popularity kind of toward the end of the classic pop punk that we think of, kind of more in the late 2000s. But I love the song, and it was also my ringtone for my mom, who's named Maria. So
love it. So you're not wrong. I actually haven't heard of this song before. I didn't even hear it on TikTok. But once I have heard it, I immediately understood why it fits, why like that is a great transition from Only One, and it's also quintessential pop punk. It's exactly what I expected to hear.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for you to check out All Time Low if you're not familiar with it. For you,
Look at that. Look at that. Look, we're exchanging. We're giving each other new recs.
that's the best part of making mixtapes, is it not?
Exactly.
Okay, Ceej, number 5. We need our anthem song. We need our windows down, sing at the top of our lungs song. What are you bringing to the to your mixtape?
So we just had You're Gonna Go Far, Kid. We were high energy, lots of drums, lots of guitar, which led me to my next song. When you said Earworm, only 2 options came, and I immediately knew which one I had to go with. So I'm gonna go with Lustra's Scotty Doesn't Know.
Is this even a real song?
It is a real song. It was a real song in general, and it's actually on the list of 100 greatest pop punk songs. It's number
Is
100.
it really?
Yeah, but it's a great song. It's an earworm. It literally just it lives with you, and it's like a fun inside joke. Like the song itself is about a guy basically saying Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. And it's just this guy talking about how he's cheating.
Thinks that she's at church, but she doesn't go. Still, she's on her knees, and
Scotty doesn't know. Oh my god! It's like not only is it a fun earworm song, Scotty doesn't know. Live in your head. You can say Scotty doesn't know to literally anyone of our generation. They will know exactly what you're talking about. But
this song, if I'm wrong, was written for a movie, correct? It does not live a life of its own outside of the movie.
It lives a life of its own.
Really? You know what's so funny is I feel like this song is probably the most famous thing about that movie too.
I here's the thing. I agree. I completely agree. But this song, again, for those of you who know, performed by Matt Damon in the movie,
Wow.
it was a fun surprise, both lyrically, visually, and it's just a good song. And like I said, it's comedic. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does take itself emphatically. He's saying this with his whole heart. And then like the little twist of I did her on his birthday. And then like the thing that I love more than anything is, like I said, earworm. It ends with just like Scotty doesn't know, Scotty doesn't know. And like the band has completed the song, and towards the end, you hear them just be like, this is so bad. This is terrible. This is ridiculous that we made this a song and it's a recording, but a good romp. I love it.
I'll say this, even though I feel like the song is parody, I feel like it falls into that thing where it's so good at parodying what it's trying to parody that it kind of blends in to the rest of the genre. So I'll give it that. It's a fun song. People know the lyrics. You're right. They love to sing along to it. And I think it's a great track number 5, Ceej. So Scotty doesn't know.
Thank you.
What's your number 5? My number 5, my anthem song following Dear Maria Count Me In from All Time Low is The Killers, Mr. Brightside.
Look, here's the thing. I like The Killers in general was one where I was like, oh God, do I keep you in? Again, what's really hard about making a mixtape is every song should fit and blend well with the others. And not having The Killers on mine, specifically Somebody Told Me, which was my alternative like fast song, but I was like, ultimately I went with what I chose. But yeah, Mr. Brightside, earworm.
Love Mr. Brightside. This is a fantastic music video as well. It kind of like parodies Moulin Rouge in a lot of ways in the way they've constructed it, but it's a great music video. And it's just one of those songs that till this day, if I'm at a karaoke bar and someone starts this song, everyone is singing it. I almost feel like it's what's the song that old white people love? Ba, 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 like Sweet Caroline. It's
Sweet
like the
Caroline.
Sweet Caroline of our millennial generation.
It's the Sweet Caroline. No, here's the thing, you're not wrong. Because you can say, coming out of my cage and I think it was just fine.
Just fine.
It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this?
It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. The whisper, I love it. They're so dramatic, but they're also having so much fun with what they're doing. They really brought a lot of visuals, I feel like, to the genre in the same way that like glam rock did in the 80s. Like they were doing a lot of glam within their punk, which I just felt like added something that was completely different than like a Blink 182, but also lived along aside it. So I love what the Killers did, and I had to make sure that they were included on this list, specifically Mr. Brightside.
I love it. Another thing about all of these songs are the lyrics are fun and they're fun to sing. And choking on your alibi is such a great mental visual. You know what I mean?
And it's also like, I feel like a lot of these songs are about like, I couldn't get the girl. And like, they're almost this kind of bittersweetness. And you know what? Who actually, Motown does a really good job of this. Motown will put out a sad song, but the song is so upbeat and so catchy that it almost makes you think like, is this a sad song? Because it makes me feel good. It's a bittersweetness that I feel like pop really does well. And this is where the pop and punk pop comes in, kind of infusing that bittersweetness of, you know, I'm basically dying to get this girl's attention, but I'm going to make this the funnest song possible about it. So love it. Okay, number 6, we have our self-reflective bop. Ceej, what do you have for your number 6 track?
So, being self-reflective, this song came to mind again, pretty early on, and the debate of whether or not to include it really was just where. But I think you'll understand that it is rightfully where it needs to be when I say my number 6 song, my middle of the playlist is The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.
It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle. Love this song. I love Jimmy Eat World. They're actually, you know, I back in my day, back in my high school days, you could see a concert for $30. I used to go to House of Blues and watch all of these punk pop bands. I was the one little black kid in a sea of white faces watching these bands. But Jimmy Eat World, I have to say, maybe put on one of the best live shows I've ever seen. So I've been a stan of Jimmy Eat World for the longest time.
Yes, and then also The Middle for me, I'm not gonna lie, I can listen to and it'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
It just takes some time. You're in the middle of the ride. Everything's gonna be just fine.
Yeah. It really is like the perfect song for like awkward teenagers.
Correct.
Too.
Excuse you, 35-year-olds. Hey, don't count yourself out yet.
You're right. But yo, this song really resonated with me when I just felt like I was so awkward, where I was like having acne, where I just felt like such a nerd at points throughout high school. And this song, I just felt like spoke to me in a lot of ways. So I'm, again, glad to have Jimmy Eat World on there.
You guys, if you've been listening to us, you know it is near impossible to keep Tony and I on topic. Specifically Tony, but that's a whole other conversation. Point is, we need help focusing, which is why we were so happy to have found Magic Mind. I'm not gonna lie, I was skeptical about anything that was calling itself magic, but these shots are actually the real deal. Packed with turmeric, matcha, and lion's mane, Magic Mind is designed to boost energy, focus, and mood while reducing stress and inflammation. I actually like the smooth rise that I get that is different from like that jitteriness that I usually get from like caffeine. And the energy lasted all day. They sent us a box, and on day 1, I noticed a difference. By day 3, I was like, okay, I see you, Magic Mind. And I was telling everybody about it. In fact, I was talking about Magic Mind at my rehearsal dinner. That's how good it is. Now we're passing that magic on to you. Head over to magicmind.com/bruh in the next 10 days and use code bruh20 in order to get 50% off a subscription. That's 50% off a subscription. What if you missed that 10-day window? Don't worry about it. You get 20% off your first purchase by still using the code. But for 50% off, go over there and use that code. Head over to magicmind.com/bruh, that's BRUH, and use code bruh20, BRUH20. You guys, you'll believe in magic. By the way, they did not make me say that. I said that on my own. Don't blame them.
Okay, so my number 6, so we're coming down from Mr. Brightside. I am throwing in Pieces of Me by Ashley Simpson.
Oh, really? You did this?
Much like you, I was desperate to include some feminine energy onto this playlist. When I traditionally make a playlist, I try to have even amounts of male and female voices, because I feel like we kind of relate to both depending on the time of day and the mood we're in. But I had to include a punk princess on here, and Pieces of Me. This song, no matter how like cheesy Ashley Simpson you may think of her as, this song to this day, on a Monday, I am waiting, on a Tuesday, I'm waiting. It's so much fun to sing. It's so kind of silly in a lot of ways, but it also kind of reminds me of like our generations, It's Just Another Manic Monday.
Yeah.
It's just a song that I feel like we all kind of know and appreciate, and I had to make sure, like I said, that we just had some female pop punk energy on here. So Pieces of Me is what I'm bringing to the table.
Here's the thing about Ashley Simpson. You can say whatever you want about her and like the kind of like spoof she became, which is mostly because of that Saturday Night Live performance. But in reality, you put on that album and you make me want to la la. Are you kidding me?
Ooh.
Shadows? Talk about sibling drama? Like, I mean, it's all there.
Messy, and I love it.
and we all felt it. Like, that's the thing about that album. We felt what she was talking about, and mad respect.
Even as like a 14-year-old Black kid, I was like, you know what, Ashley, if Jessica Simpson was my sister, I'd feel the same way.
Exactly. You understood. You connected. And that's actually really important, to be like, hey, this white rich girl is complaining about being the younger sister of a beautiful blonde, and she's done so in a way that made everyone be like, you know what? Relatable content.
Yeah, we get it, Nepo baby. We get it. Yeah, so I'm glad that we both kind of agreed on Ashley Simpson for our number 6. Okay, coming in hot, number 7, we have our last upbeat song of the playlist, our last traditionally upbeat song of the playlist. Ceej, what are you doing to keep the energy going on your pop punk mixtape?
Okay, so it was going to be Misery Business.
Ooh.
Someone took that spot.
It's off the table.
It's off the table. So because of that, I had a song that I really, really enjoyed. And it is both upbeat, but also a little bit nostalgic. And I just really wanted to find a place for it. So it became my alt just in case. And that would be The Boys of Summer by the Ataris.
Oh, I love this song.
I love this song so much. This is another one where honestly, like, I could put it on at any point in time, and I'm just like in a car driving. I'm on a road trip somewhere, open road. Like, I feel this song every time I put it on. Love for you will still be strong.
Love this song. This is actually a cover of a Bryan Adams.
I know.
But I prefer this version to the Bryan Adams song. I actually
absolutely.
This entire album, their So Long Astoria album, I think this is maybe their debut album. I think has is like a great just entry into the genre. I think it has a lot of great hidden gems on it. They have another song that may or may not appear on my playlist later on.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm a big fan of them, and I just felt like they created music that was just made to be like sitting around with your elder friends and reminiscing about the good old days.
Absolutely. Again, The Boys of Summer to me it's like you said, it's a cover, and I knew it was a cover, but there's something about that, it being a cover, that feels both 80s and 2000s. And I feel like, I don't know how to say it, but it feels like a blending of the generations. It feels like it travels through time, if that makes sense.
We also have to acknowledge that covers actually play a pretty big part in pop punk history. I feel like there's not a single pop punk band that I can think of that hasn't done a cover at one point. For a while, they released these great CDs called Punk Goes Pop, where punk artists would do covers of pop songs, which were always pretty entertaining and great. So yeah, I think that covers really do play a part into the genre, at least in the millennium version of punk. All right, so moving back to my playlist, we just did Pieces of Me by Ashley Simpson. I am following that up with my little weird groovy song of 9 in the Afternoon by Panic of the Disco.
Oh, such a good song.
This song is so like weird. Panic of the Disco is so weird during this time of their history where they like wanted to be like the punk version of the Beatles,
Mm.
but I kind of dug it and I kind of ate it up. And I love that they were willing to try something different. I actually feel like the reason why Panic of the Disco is still going is because they were so willing to experiment and try new sounds and new things. They weren't afraid to just be a little bit more pop than punk, which I feel like other artists were. But 9 in the Afternoon, it just doesn't make any sense. From a songwriting perspective, feeling so good, just the way that we do when it's 9 in the afternoon. This song just like really, the lyrics make no sense, but I love singing it. And it also just has this great, beautiful melodic instrumental that's going on in the background. That's like, he was clearly trying to tap into like Brian Wilson Beach Boys type of vibe. And I think it works really well. So I appreciate this song and I appreciate the whole Pretty Odd album that they made.
Again, remember I told you I worked backwards. I Write Sins, Not Tragedy was a close #1 for my intro song because again, I needed something iconic, and I'm glad I went with Lit. But Panic at the Disco, as you said, great experimented. They are just known for really iconic songs and really, I'll say, interesting and fun lyrics.
Yeah.
But they are completely like another one of my favorite songs by them. It's literally outside of our scope, so it would never be on any of these lists, but Far Too Young to Die. If you have a chance, check it out. I love it. And like the poetry of that song, which is basically kiss me while we're young because we're far too young to die. And basically, it's like that, not just like the human beings, but our relationship is too new to die yet. So like this idea of like, while you and I haven't learned too much about each other, while we're still on this high, let's just like make out on a high note. And I love it.
I feel like a key part of a good pop punk song that relates to teen angst is really saying like, hey, it's now, it's tonight.
Yeah,
This is it. This is all we got. To quote All American Rejects, it ends tonight. So yeah, I'm glad that we got that on there. So we're moving on from track number 7, our funky groove, into our track number 8, Deep Cut. Ceej, what deep cut did you include on your pop punk mixtape?
Okay, we were talking deep cuts. This is one where the artist I chose for this, I needed to include them because I wanted them to be represented because they are Black artists, they are female artists, and again, gave us some feminine energy while also hitting quintessential punk. And that was Fifi Dobson. Now, if you're going to go Fifi Dobson, the obvious choice is Everything, which is a fantastic song. However, I was like, if we're doing deep cuts, she has a song called Don't Let It Go to Your Head, which not only blends perfectly into my playlist, but it is a lesser known song and hits just as hard.
Ceej, I don't know how to tell this to you. I am unfamiliar with Fifi Dobson.
Oh my God. Well, let me introduce you to Fifi.
Please.
Fifi, again, Black punk princess. She has a lot of really good songs. I would say she is one of the ones who girl music. A lot of it is, Unrequited Love, the guy in your class who you've been making eyes at, and all this other stuff. The crush that you just can't quite reach.
Yes.
But this song right here, Don't Let It Go to Your Head, is such a turn on that, which is just cause I can't go on, just cause I don't want you gone, just cause I think of you in bed. Don't let it go to your head. And it's just like this idea of, so what that you take over my life and you're all consuming, calm down. And I was like, that is a me song, which is like, you literally are my obsession. And yet, let's not get a big head about it.
I can't think of a better way for a Black woman to add a voice to the genre that's filled with just crush songs, to just be like, no, I got a crush, but I'm gonna check them too.
Exactly. But also, if that's the case, you should really check out, as I said earlier, one of her most famous song, or one of her more famous songs, is Everything, and it's If You're Ready to Be My Everything. And it's basically just telling this guy, as you said, like the voice that she brings to the table is, look, you say that you're ready to be my everything. Okay, well then you got to bring it because I'm not going to wait forever.
Wow. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate you introducing me to Miss Fifi Dobson. I'm going to have to check out her discography and check out everything, and don't let it go to your head.
Yeah.
Okay. So for my deep cut track, I decided to include a song. So I'm following up 9 in the Afternoon with Existentialism on Prom Night by Starlight Run. Are you familiar?
I am not. Please. This is a deep, deep cut.
This is such a deep cut. I chose this song because this song was one of those. Do you remember LimeWire? When you would go,
of course.
You would go on LimeWire. We're going back for our millennials. You go on LimeWire, you were going Kazaa, however the fuck you pronounce that. And you would search something. You would search like Jimmy Eat World or Blink-182. And what you would get would maybe be Blink-182 or Jimmy Eat World. But sometimes you would just get like songs that were just like the title track, and you would think it went to one artist, and you were like, actually, no, that's a different artist. You would find out from your friend. And then that's how you got introduced to new music, was by downloading shit accidentally. And this one was one of those songs for me. I would type in words like emo and punk into LimeWire and just see what would show up. This song, Sing Like You Think No One's Listening, you would kill for this just a little bit, you would. It's just a song about just like, really just kind of getting out of your shell, releasing your inhibitions. Sing me something soft, sad and delicate, or loud and out of key. Sing me anything. It's such like a great, like, just sing at the top of your lungs, because you're singing it loud and out of key, usually because it's midnight and you're just getting home from prom, in my case, or you're 33 years old and you're on the highway, like that too. Like it's just kind of been there consistently and part of my high school playlist, and not all the people know about it, so I just wanted to bring attention to Starlight Run, Existentialism on Prom Night. This most likely was included on one of those like teen soap dramas in the 2000s. So you may have heard it in the background scene of something like that. So there was a time where there were teenage soap dramas on TV where that was the main way you were introduced to like mainstream music. And for whatever 100%. Reason, pop punk, emo, alternative, whatever you want to call these genres, really found their place through these like teen-based dramas. So there was so much music I was introduced to that I wouldn't have otherwise, because it was on like Southern California college radio, and someone from the OC was like, oh, we should throw that in, or just anything like that. So it was just a great way to be introduced to music during that time.
Absolutely. And then like 100% television is where we would get a lot of our new songs. Even those, you like watching the show, you hear this song in the background, you're like, oh yeah, that song. But then also, like you said, LimeWire, you would download the anthem by Good Charlotte, and then you'd play it and it'd be like Taking Back Sunday. But you didn't know that because it says the anthem. So
you didn't know. Because sometimes you would just have the wrong name for a song forever.
For years, I would think like one band had this song and it was not it.
So it was just an interesting time for music discovery. Very thankful for how far the algorithm has come now, but we had our ways to find music. And yes, I was that kid who would like watch the credits of those teen soaps being like, I need to learn the name of that song that played during that scene. Okay, Ceej, we're going to go to we just did our deep cut. Now we're going into our acoustic vibes, retro vibes song. What do you have for your track number 9?
Okay, this is the quintessential pop punk acoustic song. I honestly, like, it fit into my mixtape, which is why it's included. I had so many other ones that I was debating between, but I don't think we can have a playlist without having Green Day and Green Day's Good Riddance.
The acoustic riff of this track is so iconic. I also cannot think of the song without thinking of Jerry Seinfeld. I don't know if you have that either.
Really? No, because you know that this song was played at our graduation.
Oh, it was played at everyone's graduation.
Everyone's graduation. It's
actually
something unpredictable, but in the end,
that's right. Do you remember
that we had
6 graduation songs for class of
Yes,
06
I do.
because we could not decide on them?
Because we had a terrible system.
We did. I don't even know if this song was on that list, but I do remember it being played at least while
every
some of us were walking.
graduation.
Yeah.
And it's again quintessential pop punk acoustic. A man and his guitar. You get a little bit of harp later on in the song. And again, it's a farewell song that's still very emotional. And he's instead of talking to like one person, it can be applied to an entire class of people. And yet you still feel nostalgic when you hear it.
Definitely. There's some great lyrics to the song. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on the shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth
all the while.
Yeah, it's just it almost has the same sentiment as like a Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, just kind of like this bittersweet, like reminiscing on something, being like, you know what, I don't have this anymore, but like I can cherish it for what it was, just kind of looking back on something with just like I don't know, the same way you would reflect back on youth in a lot of ways. So I just think the song is great and kind of a perfect graduation song in a lot of ways too.
Yeah. And again, to me, as we start to get towards the end of our mixtape, this felt really good as like not only the name Good Riddance, but just like saying, hey, I hope you've had a good time.
Hope you had a good time. I love this song. I love that's included. And yeah, we got some Green Day on there, which we had to, the kind of the grandfathers of this whole kind of millennial pop punk movement. Okay, so for my kind of acoustic retro track, I decided to go with a different song by the Ataris, In This Diary. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I am not. Please explain.
In This Diary is off of the same album as Boys of Summer. And what I love about this is that this song is really just about reflecting back on youth and childhood, specifically your teenage years when you were just kind of being young and stupid. I want to read some of these lyrics to you. All those nights we stayed up talking, listening to 80s songs and quoting lines from all those movies that we love. It still brings a smile to my face. Like there's just so much of it that's just like
nostalgia. It's almost
nostalgic.
Like a diary entry.
Breaking into hotel swimming pools and wrecking havoc on our world, hanging out at truck stops just to pass the time. The blacktop singing me to sleep. And one of my favorite lyrics of all time is the chorus, which goes, being grown up isn't half as fun as growing up. These are the best days of our lives. The only thing that matters is just following your heart, and eventually you'll finally get it right. It's a fantastic song. To me, it kind of encapsulates this entire high school period of my life, and really just kind of talks about being young and dumb and having fun in a way that's really beautiful and nostalgic.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to your point, from the lyrics alone, I can hear it is very much like a diary entry and something that, like a diary, you're writing this because you want to remember these good times. So yeah, I love it.
Definitely. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar, I highly recommend checking out In This Diary by the Ataris. Ceej,
okay,
we have finally gotten
that time
to the final track. What is your epic finale?
Okay, quick recap.
Quick recap.
So far, I have My Own Worst Enemy, Complicated, I Miss You, You're Gonna Go Far Kid, Scotty Doesn't Know, The Middle, The Boys of Summer, Don't Let It Go to Your Head, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, and I was like, we've ended with one of the most iconic instrumentals with Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, Green Day, essential godfathers, grandfathers of pop punk. Where do you go from here? You can't really just hit back into like a slow, methodic song. So if we were at a concert and I wanted you to perform something that would really be like a grand finale, I needed two things. One, I needed Fall Out Boy. And two, I needed Thanks for the Memories. Thanks for the memories, even though we weren't so bad.
This is another.
Oh, by the way.
Go ahead.
The lyric, he tastes like you, only sweeter, changed my life. It changed my life. Like I kid you not. Like I like the idea of like I know it's a quote from a movie, but the idea of someone saying he tastes like you, only sweeter, that is right up there with Toni Braxton's I think he's just the man for you. And in terms of like, when you hear that, like it doesn't leave you.
It doesn't. Wow. Yeah. Like, again, we were just talking about how Fall Out Boy had really great, kind of funny tongue-in-cheek lyrics, but I think this transcends throughout their entire discography. Even this song, I think, has some really great lyrics. But to your point, it's like it's not even just funny stuff. It's stuff that like kind of like is like these almost like burn book type of messages in a lot of ways.
Yes, burn book type messages, which is hilarious because that's exactly what this song is. I want these words to make things right, but it's the wrongs that make the words come to life. Who does he think he is? If that's the worst you got, better put your fingers back to the keys. Like, again, burn book. You said it perfectly.
Yeah, it says burn book all over it.
Also, this song is one of those where it's like, I feel like anyone who has heard this song before, like, again, if this is your final number, you are standing, you're singing along. When the music drops, you're clapping along. And the lyrics, thanks for the memories, even if they weren't so great. Again, this is a song that gives me that just like grand finale. Like, we have done what we need to do, mic drop, walk off stage.
Well. Wow. All right. Well, fantastic way to end your pop punk mixtape, Ceej. Thanks for the memories, Fall Out Boy. All right. My final song, my final entry into my place, and I'll do a little recap as well.
I just want to note, you started with
I started with Fall Out Boy. You ended with it. So yeah, Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down, Misery Business, Only One, Yellow Card, Dear Maria, Count Me In, All Time Low, The Killers, Mr. Brightside, Pieces of Me, Ashley Simpson, 9 in the Afternoon, Panic at the Disco, Existentialism on Prom Night by Starlight Run, In This Diary by the Ataris, and my final track on my pop punk mixtape is Dashboard Confessional. Vindicated. I could not not include Dashboard Confessional. I think, yep, Dashboard Vinyl right there behind me. Dashboard Confessional to me was the Bob Dylan of my generation. Like it was like this guy who just had a guitar and just put poetry to these really interesting chord progressions. He had an amazing voice, Chris Carrabba, the lead singer of Dashboard. And this song in particular is such like a celebratory, big finishing number for a playlist. Vindicated. I am selfish.
I am wrong. I am right. I swear I'm right. Swear I knew it
all along, and I am flawed. I am flawed, but I'm cleaning up so well. I'm seeing in me now the things you swore you saw yourself. Like, there is some great lyrics in this. It also
Hope dangles on a string, like slow spinning. Good song. And I will not lie, I want to hear like a Vindicated was initially my final song because I was like, I was with you. I was like, showstopper. But once I put Good Riddance in that slot, I couldn't go from Good Riddance to Vindicated. But Vindicated is like, just like All or Nothing was like one that you and I agreed on.
Yeah.
Vindicated is a showstopper.
This song was also on the soundtrack to one of the greatest superhero movies of all time that came out when I was in high school. And I remember like leaving the theater because this was the song that played during the credits, where we were all just so hyped. We were hyped over the movie. We were hyped over the song. Me being a Dashboard Confessional fan, I was really excited that he got such a key spot on a key soundtrack. I was hoping it would give him more fame, but he kind of actually fell off a little bit after that, I would say, in terms of popularity. But I've always been a Dashboard fan, and I had to make sure I was represented on here. Vindicated, amazing song, and I think it's just a great way to end my pop punk album.
I will not disagree. That is a fantastic selection. Okay, you guys, it is up to you. We need you to tell us who had the better mixtape playlist.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you, did you have any like ones that didn't make the list that you were like, I really wanted that song represented?
Did I have any? I think like we've talked about this. I'll say for you, and I was like, we'll save this for a later list. Something that I know that you will enjoy. Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm. That that was up there. It was one
It's
of my
actually not
selects.
my favorite Alien Ant Farm song. I like movies better, but yeah.
Okay, okay, a good one, a good one. Wake Me Up When September Ends almost
Ooh.
was my acoustic vibes. I almost ended on Dare You to Move by Switchfoot.
Switchfoot.
Right, right,
What a time.
right. And then the last one that I wanted to say is When You're Gone by Avril Lavigne.
Oh
Another
yeah.
ballad that like I cannot tell you how many times I just went in switching songs and being like, do you fit? And not being able to include When You're Gone by Avril Lavigne hurt my heart because
Wow.
that song, she goes all in. So yeah, those were some of my bonus tracks. How about you?
I had a few bonus tracks I could not find space for, and these were alternates that just I didn't get to. But Move Along, All American Rejects was on there for me.
Yes.
Evanescence, in general, Bring Me to Life, or My Immortal.
I was like, should we like? I was like, are they alt rock? I feel like at least with Linkin Park and Evanescence, I was like, you're not punk pop, you're alt rock.
I see them as all one of the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have included. I just couldn't find a natural place for it. And then The Reason by Hoopastank.
The Reason was also
The Reason by Hoopastank was
The Reason got eliminated this morning. But yeah, The Reason was there. I kid you not. But I realized that I had 11 tracks because I was like, oh, over here.
Yeah.
So had to get rid of The Reason.
The Reason was like a close tie for like a ballad entry with Fix You by Coldplay, but I didn't know if that counted as.
See, this is like, these are soft rock. These are a whole other
Coldplay
playlist.
doesn't count. I got that. That's why I didn't throw it in there.
I have one for you that I thought of you specifically because it's the song that you and I used to at least listen to together because we were thinking about one person in particular. And I'm just going to name the song and see if you can remember the person. Vertical Horizons, Everything You Want.
Back when you thought you were straight.
Oh, shut up. Nobody told you to say anything.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Love it.
Ceej,
Good times.
Now that we've put together our pop punk playlist, how are you feeling? What do you think of this whole pop punk movement? Do you feel like we really got to the essence of it?
I feel like we did such a good job and we gave so many alts. Again, we want you guys to make sure that you give us your selects. Go check out our playlist. Let us know which one you think. We will share on our Spotify and YouTube. Give us your feedback. Please let us know what songs do you think we missed. And I'm going to let you guys know right now. I hear you. You're screaming out. How did you eliminate the song? Let me tell you. Narrowing down the choices to just 10, harder than it looks. So why don't you give it a try? Let us know. Remember, you can reach out to us at Bro Meets World on all of the socials. We are excited to jump back into season 7 when the time is right. But until that day, we hope to see you soon here at Bro Meets World presents Let's Make a Mixtape.
This episode of Bro Meets World presents Let's Make a Mixtape was produced by Ceej and edited by Tony Curtis. Bro Meets World Presents is a 2 free tokens media production.
Later, Buzz.
Later, bruh.